Welcome from the Department of Public Health and Health Sciences at the University of Michigan Flint. This presentation will include information about the Flint water crisis and give information that is important for mothers and potential mothers to understand regarding their health and the health of their child. This presentation is titled How to Detect, Prevent, and Alleviate Lead Exposure. The following will be covered in this presentation: signs and symptoms of lead poisoning, recommendations to mothers to prevent or minimize lead exposure, recommendations on who should get tested, tips to reduce lead exposure, guidance on water filter use, nutrition information, focus on mitigating the effects of lead poisoning, guidance on rashes, how to mitigate the effects of lead through learning and play, and breastfeeding information. How can you tell if your child's been exposed to high lead levels? Well, you cannot be sure until you go to the doctor and get tested. If your child has bad stomach aches, muscle weakness, or paleness, also called anemia, you should be concerned and consult your child's doctor. You cannot see, smell, or taste lead in water. The only way to know for sure if your home has high lead levels is by having your water tested. Mothers and pregnant women should first get their taps tested for lead and then use bottled water if they suspect or have high lead levels. Upcoming slides will discuss this in more detail, but mothers should know when to use unfiltered water, and they should know how to mitigate the effects of lead by eating healthy food that is rich in calcium, iron, and vitamin C. If you have any questions, always consult your doctor. Lead itself is known to decrease bone turnover. Therefore, it is a known risk factor for osteoporosis. Who should get tested? Well, all children, pregnant mothers, nursing mothers, and anyone else that is concerned should get tested for lead. You can go to your primary care doctor or to the Genesee County Health Department in Flint at 630 South Saginaw or in Burton at 3373 South Saginaw. Water filters have been proven to reduce lead in water to safe levels. Be sure that you use a NSF 53 certified water filter or filter pitcher for all cooking and drinking. Only cold water should be used in filters. To further reduce lead levels, you can run unfiltered water from the kitchen faucet or bathtub to purge and coat the pipes. Remember that children under 6, pregnant women, and nursing mothers should use bottled water instead of filtered water. Boiling water does not reduce lead. The aerators on your faucet should be cleaned out once a week to remove lead particles and sediment. This picture shows the pure faucet water filter. When should you use filtered water and when should you use bottled water? Children under 6 years of age, pregnant women, and nursing mothers should do all their cooking and drinking with bottled water. All baby formula should be made using filtered water. All other groups can drink or eat food cooked with filtered water instead of bottled water. It is important to only use filtered cold tap water and to only boil filtered water, because hot water sits in the hot water heater and is more likely to be contaminated with contaminants like lead. When is it safe to use unfiltered water? It is safe to use soapy, unfiltered water for washing dishes, washing pacifiers, and washing toys. Let them dry thoroughly before use. It is also safe to use unfiltered water for showering and bathing. Do not intake water through the mouth. Proper nutrition is very important to counteract the adverse health effects of lead. Knowing how to read a nutrition label will allow mothers to make proper choices at the grocery store and will help maintain a healthy diet. The green section marked with a 1 shows information on serving size. The rest of the information on its label gives information per serving, so it is important to understand portions. The gray section shows the number of calories per serving. The red section shows the breakdown of total fat, saturated fat, and trans fat, as well as cholesterol and sodium. The purple section shows the breakdown of fiber, vitamins, and mineral. And the blue section gives information on daily values that are based on a 2,000 or 2,500 calorie per day diet. This area also gives a recommendation on maximum total fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol based on each diet. For example, a person on a 2,500 calorie per day diet should eat no more than 80 grams of total fat per day. The next few slides show what types of food are recommended to combat the effects of lead. To counteract the adverse health effects of lead, after exposure, it is recommended to eat foods that are rich in calcium. Sources of calcium include milk, yogurt, cheese, and green leafy vegetables. It is also recommended to eat foods that are rich in vitamin C. Sources of vitamin C include oranges and orange juice, grapefruit and grapefruit juice, tomatoes and tomato juice, green peppers, and potatoes. Eating food that is rich in iron can also help combat the adverse health effects of lead exposure. Sources of iron include lean red meat, beans, cereal, and spinach. Many people have complained about rashes after their exposure to Flint water. This slide shows the do's and don'ts about rashes. Do try antihistamines like Benadryl. Do take oatmeal baths. Do use gentle body wash. Do not apply over-the-counter 1% hydrocortisone. Do apply moisturizer. Do clean broken skin with gentle cleanser and water. And do see a doctor. Do not put alcohol on your skin. Do not use bar soap. Do not use hydrogen peroxide or bleach. Do not use light lotions, and do not use triple antibiotic lotions. There is a lot of information out there about the lead water crisis. Knowing what is fact and what is fiction is sometimes difficult. To help, the next two slides will go over statements that we will identify as either fact or fiction. The first one, lead poisoning can cause learning problems in children. This statement is true. Lead poisoning can be toxic to areas of the brain and nervous system that are responsible for academic learning and performance. Statement 2. Eating foods high in calcium, iron, and vitamin C may help protect pregnant women and unborn children from lead poisoning. This statement is true. You can find calcium in milk, yogurt, and cheese, and green leafy vegetables like spinach. You can get iron from lean red meat, beans, cereals, and spinach, and you can get vitamin C from oranges, green and red peppers, broccolis, tomato, and juices. Statement 3. Lead in public water supplies must not exceed 15 parts per billion. This is true. The United States Environmental Protection Agency requires action when lead levels reach 15 parts per billion. Children with empty stomachs absorb more lead than children with full stomachs. This statement is true. The concentrations are higher on an empty stomach. Hot water can contain more lead than cold water. This is also true, as hot water can leach more lead and other metals out of the pipe. Always use cold water for cooking and drinking. Children with lead poisoning look sick. This statement is false. Many children with lead poisoning look and act healthy. The only way to know for sure if your child has been exposed to lead is to have the child's blood tested by your primary care physician or the Genesee County Health Department. Next statement, lead cannot be passed from a pregnant mother to her baby. The statement is false. Lead readily crosses the placenta into the developing fetus. To help your child mitigate the adverse health effects of lead, it is important that you had your child engage in stimulating learning and play. You can enroll your child in an early education program such as Head Start or Great Start. Reading to your child every day is highly recommended. Allowing your child to play with other children will help your child develop social skills and learning through participation in activities. The exercise from play is also beneficial. Work with your child on listening and following directions. To expand your child's interest in the world, you should ask questions like, what could happen next? Proper nutrition in the early stages of development is very important for your baby to mitigate the adverse health effects of lead. Breastfeeding is the preferred method of feeding your baby, as breast milk provides the best nutrition and provides other health benefits. Unless the mother has very high blood lead levels, it is okay to breastfeed because there is very little lead that is passed into the breast milk. Thank you for your time. You can use the strategies discussed in this presentation to help protect yourself from the effects of lead. You should also protect yourself even if you're not pregnant yet. If you plan on becoming pregnant, it is important to start protecting yourself from lead exposure now. Thank you.